Hey everybody, Fifth Horseman here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and we're basically where we were before, after the quick save, or the quick load of the quick save because we screwed up Time Warp, or Time Warp failed us, is what I like to say. And we're basically in the same boat we were before, whereas we got to leave Laythe and then get ourselves out to our apoapsis and do a couple burns to get really close. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I've noticed some problems, and I don't know if it's the mods I'm using, I don't know if it's the, something else, but I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I have found that when you leave Sphere of Influences and stuff, sometimes this maneuver node faces the wrong way. I had that problem, I don't remember what episode it was. I think it was when I was leaving Eve, from Joolpollo. Where's control from here? There it is. Okay, make sure I'm facing the right way. We've got a 400 meter per second burn, which is going to be like, what's that, a quarter of this? So that's 7 seconds it's going to take to do this burn, which is basically nothing. I'm going to burn. Keeping us aimed right at that maneuver node. Why not? And done. Burned a little too much, but shouldn't be a big deal. And it's not. Heads towards the target up there on the HUD, and technically on the nav ball as well. But who pays attention to the nav ball anymore? The only thing the nav ball has is the thrust indicator and whether or not my SAS is on, and my RCS. Okay, so we've got 1019 meters per second. We're moving 400 meters per second next to it, or relative to it. Okay, I narrowed this thing down. I don't know what's good or not, but I figure intercept distance and distance are pretty important, and relative velocity is important, although that's down here as well, so that's probably redundant, but what are you going to do? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is when our... See, if we fast forward a bit, yeah, our intercept distance and our distance are going down. I think when our intercept distance gets down to, say, 5,000 kilometers... I'm going to go back into non-map mode. I've never actually done this before, so I'm curious. Okay, we are still basically aimed at it. So there's nothing I can do as far as that's concerned. Let's go ahead and do it from here. Let's bring our intercept distance down to 4,000 kilometers. And we're starting to wander a little bit, so let's go ahead and bring that back. So it's centered on there. Okay, we are also, notice we're 8,000 kilometers away and our intercept distance is 3,000 kilometers. So, yeah, that's so crazy. I love it. That seems wrong though. Yeah, I don't know what it's telling me, to be honest, but no, not a big deal. Let's go down to 3,000 kilometers for intercept distance. I'm kind of making this up as I go along. And when I say 3,000 kilometers for intercept distance, I'm talking about this number right here. Okay, and I think I'm just going to burn like that to bring it back down. Okay, 2,000. I think I'm going to do another one. I'm going to go up a little higher so I have to use less slowdown fuel to push that thing down. We're looking pretty good. And as you notice, our intercept here is getting closer. It's now 130 kilometers when it was 200 and some odd kilometers before. So we're going to go down to 1,500 kilometers on the right there, intercept distance. Sway just a little bit. There we go. Now we should be getting really close. 65 kilometers distance. Let's go down to 500 kilometers. Whoa! Or 50 kilometers. Either way is fine. Let's go ahead and do this burn here. Frickin' time warp. Okay, and we should now be able to see him. No, still can't see him. I can't see him. But we are going less than 100 meters per second. And we're going directly at him. And he is 50 kilometers away. Oh, now we can see him. And dead stop. Well, almost dead stop. Because this guy has no RCS. We're going to bring out a ferry and we're going to dock it to down here. You've seen me do this before. It's a big pain in the butt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring out I'm going to bring out two... I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring out one guy with full monoprop. He's going to put some of his monoprop in these guys, and then they are going to go dock with the station. And then, you know what, I'm just going to bring out two guys. And then I'm going to put one guy on each one of these, and I'm going to bring this thing back to dock it with the station so that it can refuel. The big problem is, and I realize this now, which is bad, is that there isn't a docking port on the back of this guy, which kind of breaks the design of everything else, because I put two docking ports on everybody so that they could just dock in any order. So he has to be on the end of a chain of these guys when we dock on here, which is going to be kind of a pain in the butt, but not a big deal. We can fix that. So let's. I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to grab two of these guys, I think. Bring them out, and then I'll come back once I have taken care of all the boring paperwork. And perfect docking. That's how you use the HUD. Okay, I like it. Let's go ahead and give this guy some fuel here. Yeah, we're going to take all the fuel out of this guy. And there's a reason for that, and I'll show that to you after we leave for Tylo, which is where we're going next. But yeah, we're going to fill up all these tanks here out of this big tank here. And then we're going to make sure all these tanks are full, then these guys are going to match up together and head off to Tylo. And I think that's probably where this episode's going to end, I'm guessing. I don't know. But let's see, there's that guy, and then this guy. But you don't need to see this. Obviously, you know what refueling looks like. So I will be back when we are ready to hook these guys up together. Okay, I'm going to admit it. I'm a little worried about fuel. This guy is now completely empty. This guy has around $2,000 of liquid fuel in him. This guy to refuel takes about $1,000. And this guy to refuel takes a lot more than that, although this is the last time we'll have to refuel him. Actually, I guess it's not a lot more than that. It's about the same amount. Because it's the big tanks on this guy are the same as the 3 big tanks on this guy, and then he also has 3 little tanks. So it's not a lot more, but it's a bit more. So the 2 of these guys, if I had to refuel these guys again completely, that's all the fuel in this tank gone. And that's the last of the fuel. So I might be sending up a refueling mission. I misunderestimated, I guess, how much fuel this whole mission's going to cost. However, the nice thing about that is if I do have to send up a refueling mission, it can have a couple resupplies in it too, such as a couple more parachutes and I don't know what else. I guess mostly parachutes. But and maybe a smaller transfer stage on the way home, because I was going to. Here was the plan: I can disconnect this here, and then this guy was what was going to come home, and then we're going to leave this whole husk in space around Jool. The problem with that is that this engine here isn't very efficient, compared to a lot of things, like the nuclear engines, although it's actually pretty efficient compared to most things. But can you see specific impulse is 380, whereas these guys' specific impulse is 370. So it's actually better specific impulse, although it's a much heavier engine, obviously. So, but if you have to take it, you might as well use it. So I might bring up just a fuel thing that then can attach to this guy, or maybe just trusses and stuff, so that this guy could bring everybody home or something like that. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I lied to you before. I said I was going to come back when these guys were all connected, and I didn't. I lied to you. So I'm going to do that now, though. What I'm going to do is this guy here is going to connect to the nose of this guy, and then this guy here, which has nobody in it. Yeah, has nobody in it, so somebody's going to have to get in there and take this thing, and then we're going to go to Tylo. So I'll be back when these guys are connected. And thank you! First try. I like it. Okay. Now, this is what's going to Tylo. This is the last really heavy ship, because these drop tanks are dropping once we use them up in Tylo. What I'm hoping is we can get to Tylo with some fuel left in these guys, though, and all of these guys, which I am by no means sure. And now we need to plan our Tylo encounter, and we're already halfway in, so I think what we're going to do here is let's set it as our target. And then what we're going to do is out here, we're going to do a maneuver to do 2 things. One is to bring us back down into Tylo's orbital plane here. 1.8. Get it, yeah, get it right there. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to speed up until we get an actual Tylo encounter, which has screwed up this, of course, as it always does. There we go. There's our Tylo encounter that I think we're going to go for. Let's see what it looks like over here. It's looking actually pretty good. We're very coplanar. We can tweak the distance to it fairly easily right here. I want a really nice encounter, though. And I want it to be as cheap as possible. There we go. That's looking nice and equatorial. And then get it right, really low orbit, around 100. I think in my testing, when I was testing this guy, let's actually click on this so we can see it here. Whoa! I don't even know why I'm trying to do this node the way it is. Oh my god, I'm using the scroll wheel. Nobody tell squad. So anyway, let's go ahead and aim us at our maneuver node, which I hope is this way. It is not, which means I'm controlling from the wrong direction. So let's control from here, because this is the thing that is the most... Ooh, undock, nah. There we go. The reason I want to control from this docking port right here is because he is the most rigidly attached to these engines. So when these engines are figuring out what to do, they're basing it on the direction this guy's facing, not like the direction this guy's facing or this guy's facing, because these can wobble a little bit. So I wanna make sure that we don't have to worry about that. This guy might need to drop him off at Tylo and then come back and get more fuel, because there's nothing left here. In the original plan of this, I had a second refueler for just this instance, like basically a utility craft, and I forgot to include it in the final thing. By the way, I'm going to be doing the landing, and who's controlling this thing? RD is going to be doing the ferrying. I totally forgot to bring a science container, which is super annoying. I can attach it here. I'm going to ferry it out from the main ship. So let's jump over to the main ship. Yeah, we don't have to worry about hitting the solar panels on anything, so that's good. Let's go ahead and just get this right there. I love this HUD. We should probably slow down a little bit. 0.3 is looking good for now. Slow it down to 0.2. And then turn RCS and computer off, and boom, we're connected. Okay. Now, whoever is running this thing... Cursony, that's right. You're going home. Oh, there we go. Turn off the RCS and the computer, and we're docked. Okay. Everybody's back where they should be. We're going to do some reconfiguring of this thing. When you come back, these guys are all going to be docked to these side ports, and this is going to be disconnected. What I don't know is whether or not that's the finale of the thing. There might be another ship coming up, but we don't know. So back to this guy. Let's see. RCS is off. We need to control from. This guy's getting more and more confusing. We're gonna need to control from here. There we go. Now we need to aim at our maneuver node. This guy's a lot heavier than he was before, which probably means we have even less delta V. It's not a lot less, though. Francois, welcome to Kerbal Space Program. You are launching the refueler and also slight resupply. We'll get into that in a minute. This is, I will tell you this right now, totally, completely untested. I have no idea if it'll work. The numbers tell me it will. So in 3, 2, 1... launch! Oh yeah, look at that. It's a thing of beauty. Should probably... oh wait, the computer's on already. This thing should have enough delta V to get into orbit with the center stack still attached. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing because you've seen a lot of launches. So I'm just going to cut to first separation, which should happen right now. Then I'm going to rotate this guy 90 degrees. Probably. Probably should have added some reaction wheels. I do have a reaction wheel on the top, but obviously could use a couple more in the ship proper. The reason I'm rotating is because the next separation we're going to be sideways, and I don't want it crashing into my ship. So yeah. Yeah, tell you what, I will. I'm going to cut out here, and I will come back when we've got this guy perfectly rotated, and we start our gravity turn here. Now we're actually looking this way on it. Might as well look the way where the nav ball shows us. And tell you what, let's bring up the HUD as well. Why not? And we are eventually going to be dropping these side tanks. I'm going to keep you here through that. We're otherwise just following our normal launch process, which is when this gets to 20, we want to be around 45, which is going to be aiming this at this. And here go the side tanks. And this is why I rotated, because those probably would have crashed into my ship. Okay, just cut the engines here. We've got a bit of fuel left, not too much. I need to refigure my things here, because apparently some of my stuff. Yeah, I've only got 282 meters per second, which is probably enough to get us into orbit. Okay, what I'm going to do here is we're going to, what's our apoapsis now? Oh, it's 60. Yeah, so we need to keep burning here. We actually might use a lot of this fuel just to keep our apoapsis from coming back down. So let's go ahead and fast forward a bit. Let it come back down. Now, as we rise, our apoapsis here is going to come down slower. So goodbye. And now we can plan our maneuver here at apoapsis to bring our periapsis up to about the same. And it doesn't really matter where it is. Let's also hit 1 to open our solar panels. I said let's hit 1 to open our solar panels, and apparently, even though I saved that, it didn't actually save. Okay, we'll tell you what, you've seen me get in orbit before. I will come back when we have a Jool planned encounter. Okay, we have a Jool encounter planned, a Jool burn planned in 269 days. It's going to cost us 19 1.9 kilometers per second, about 2 kilometers per second out of the almost 10 we have. That's why I think this will be enough fuel for the refuel mission. Now, let me show you what this ship does here. Basically, it's a new return vehicle is what it is. It's got more, what do you call them, these things? Ports on the side. It also has more parachutes. I'm bringing up 5 more parachutes. And it also replaces, this guy is going to replace what was going to get Jool orbital science, and I'll show you why when we go up to Jool here. And it also is bringing more monoprop up, because I'm getting kind of low on that. But well, that's not going to happen for quite a while, so let's go ahead and jump to Tylpollo. Tylpollo. And this guy is now free to do his maneuver here in 6 days. And if you go over here and look here, we can't actually get to it from here, but I can jump to Fix Me, which is what I named this ship. And here it is. I have a docking port here. And if I right-click on this docking port, there's no option to decouple. I tried various ways to get this thing to decouple, and it won't. So we are going to abandon this. Kersony was the brave Kerbonaut who was trying to do this here. And he is giving up on this thing, and he is going back to the Joolpollo ship. This is the temporary mothership that is going to eventually be replaced by what's coming up here. And if you look here, it's got all the pods attached radially. There we go. Okay, and then they're just going to sit here and chill out and wait for our Tylpollo guys. Now the problem is he has horrible thrust to weight. And that could become a problem very quickly in this game. Because getting into orbit on Tylo is not the easiest thing in the world. So we're gonna see what it's like to burn 648 meters per second here, which should be about a 3-minute burn based on this thing here. And if that seems laboriously slow, we can't get into orbiter on Tylo with that, and then we'll have to kick on the big engines on the back. So let's go ahead and hit F5. Let's go into map mode to make sure our orbits don't get screwed up in any way. But then here's this burn here that's going to get us our Tylo encounter. I'm going to do a quick test burn here. See what this looks like. The node is in 3 minutes, and the burn is going to take 4.5 minutes. That's not horrible for an interplanetary, but I'm not sure I like the idea for the insertion burn. We'll see what the insertion takes. And actually, we already know what the insertion takes because it's node 2 here. Yeah, the insertion is going to take about 6 minutes, which is just too much. So we're going to do the insertion with the other engines, definitely. So I'm going to do this burn. It's going to be boring. I'm not going to subject you to it. I will be back when we are... tell you what, I'll be back when we're almost to Tylo. Okay, we're coming up on Tylo. We are a couple hours from our sphere of influence change. I have already reconfigured my engines so that these ones are the ones that are going. Oh, I can't change anything while we're in time warp. I'm going to drag these on. I just don't like my active engines not being in the first stage. I don't know why. I don't think it affects anything. And close the alarm and pause and snap us to that. And now if we look here, our periapsis is a very low 25, 29. So we are going to burn here so that we get a new very circular orbit, very low over Tylo. And I think I had actually planned this whole thing to be at 100, so I think 30 is a good idea because we're hurting for fuel. So we are aimed correctly. We're going to swing around this way, I think. We're going to be coming up, under. And then this burn, I don't know how long the burn's going to take because I have no idea how these engines work. But first, before we do any of that, I just remembered we need to get science here. So we're going to observe the materials bay. Okay, and now do your EVA report. And get your butt back in the container. Okay, so now all we need to do now is wait until we are low over Tylo. So I'm going to hit F5, and then we are going to fast forward until this thing beeps at us again. Which I talked to the creator of this mod, and he doesn't think that this should ever happen, that we should ever that we should ever be in a situation where this thing doesn't work. So he wants my log file. So if we drop below, I believe it's 250 kilometers, and this thing doesn't bleep at me, I'm going to pause the game while I collect my log files to send off to him. Because I'm a good beta tester. And it didn't alert me. Let's see if we are actually low over Tylo now. We're near Tylo, so I'm going to hit escape. I will be back in a moment when after I've collected my log files. Okay, so we don't need to worry about speed right now. The important thing is getting this burn done. Because this guy's going to be sitting in low over Tylo orbit, and we can't collect these things while we're burning anyway. So we're just going to wait until we get into Tylo orbit before we do anything. There's the alert. Close the alarm and unpause. I'm going to hit F5 in case lighting these engines screws something up. Like seriously compacting the ship. It's 1 minute and 10 seconds. So we're going to go down to 35 seconds. And then do this burn, and while we're waiting, we might as well get the stuff out of the way. Okay, we're going to do a crew report from this guy. Hop back in. Okay, now 35 seconds before. Let's get ourselves aimed right at that node. 35 seconds before we Okay, this is kind of a scary burn because it really compresses the ship, but the ship seems to be able to handle it, which is nice. When I get down to about 50... There we go. Okay, 37, and our periapsis is 10, which is way too low. So, we are going to flip around. Oh, can't... Oh, wow, we're too low to warp. That's a little scary, actually. Yeah, we're going to get our periapsis above... I don't know if we can get our periapsis above 30 from here. I don't think we can. Yeah, we kind of screwed the pooch on this one. Okay, so we're heading towards periapsis. Hopefully that won't kill us. I think at apoapsis we're going to burn a little bit to get our periapsis up above 30. Okay, I figured you'd want to see this. I dumped the science containers. I grabbed the data out of them while I was waiting here. But then I saw Jool rising, and I thought, you know what, maybe you guys would want to see this. We are coming back up from our periapsis, so there's no chance of crashing into any of these mountains that we're tumbling towards here. But the sun should be rising very soon based upon the crescent value of Jool there. And you also see Laythe up above it, peeking out from behind, or actually probably sneaking back behind if I know my orbital mechanics right. And there's the sunrise. So now if we turn our computer on... our ship can actually orient itself without losing any electric power. Just going to start burning here. Raise this thing up. I think 45 by 45 is a reasonable amount. $47 by 45. That works for me. Okay, we are done. Now, we need to fill up these fuel tanks. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like we definitely don't have enough fuel. We have used up 2 of these, and then these, which are a second one of these, and then even some of these. So this guy has to go back and get more fuel. He is full, though. So one, yeah, but see, that these 2 tanks would fill up these 2. This one would fill up these 2. Here, and then these are still empty. So yeah, we gotta go back and get more fuel. So we are leaving HM in orbit. This was I'm not gonna say it was planned, but it was accounted for in the plan because this guy can go and get more fuel from the main station. We're talking node 1 and node 2. We've got 273 here and 782 here. That's 1,000. We've got 4,000. So yeah, I should have left some fuel with the guy, to be honest. And I could actually still do that. But we're talking it's going to probably cost about 2,000, maybe? Tell you what, I think this is probably an episode. Next episode, I'm going to get this guy back there, get some fuel in him, and come back, and I might not even show you any of that. You've seen orbital maneuvers before, so I think I'm just going to do it. So when I come back, I'm going to have this guy coming back in to dump more fuel into the Tylo lander, and then we're going to land this guy. So I hope you enjoyed watching me finagle my way to Tylo. I definitely enjoyed finagling my way to Tylo. I am Fifth Horseman, and I will, as always... talk at you later.